I was stuck in a desk job in the US with bills piling up, endless traffic, and constant stress eating away at my peace. I realized enough was enough, and I packed my bags and traded skyscrapers for sandy shores in the Philippines. Moving wasn't just about saving money, it was about reclaiming joy in a slower life. I hit a wall at 55 when my pension couldn't keep up with inflation, and I knew I had to make a change. Healthcare bills and housing costs in the US were erasing my savings and leaving little room to actually live. I crunched the numbers, and the cost of living comparison made the Philippines look like the sensible choice. I grew tired of long work weeks, nonstop consumer pressure, and the political divides that split friends and family. I wanted out of the hyper-consumerism trap and to be part of a community that valued connection over competition. I was drawn to year-round sun, clear waters, and green mountains instead of cold winters and polluted air. I dreamed of morning walks on the beach instead of shoveling snow. Life here costs a fraction of what it did back home, with rent and groceries far cheaper than in major U.S. cities. My monthly budget dropped from $4,000 to about $1,200, which gave me freedom to enjoy life. I could eat out for $10 a meal, pay utilities of $50, and even hire a helper for $150. Filipinos speak English fluently, and the Bayanihan spirit made me feel welcome right away. Smiles and invitations to backyard barbecues eased the culture shock and helped me settle in. High English skills also made banking and doctor visits simple for a newcomer like me.
I can stay in the Philippines for 30 days visa-free and then extend easily. For long-term residency, the SRRV stands out as my best option. Since I'm over 50, I need a $10,000 deposit or proof of an $800 monthly pension. If I were under 50, the SRRV would require $20,000 upfront. I got my SRRV in weeks at a Manila bank, which sped up the whole move. It lets me own a condo and bring my pension tax-free. Paperwork can glitch, so I paid an agent a fee to help smooth the process. I researched visas thoroughly to avoid hiccups before I left. I left the corporate ladder and built a new daily routine here. I no longer work a 9-to-5 grind. I keep a part-time remote gig writing for US sites that pays about $2,000 a month. Many expats here do the same or live off rentals and investments. Local office jobs often pay around $300 a month, so most expats skip them. I shifted into simple maintenance work, which lets me fish or read in the afternoons. The expat budget here supports a much more chilled pace of life. I found housing online using sites like Lemudi to narrow options. I rent a beach house in Cebu for $500 to avoid foreign land buy limits. Provinces give me quiet spots while cities buzz with more options. Tricycles zip me around for about 50 cents a ride. I use ride-hailing apps for longer trips, much like Uber. Groceries are a mix of malls and wet markets where mangoes can be $1 a kilo. I always check for typhoon-proof builds and prefer provinces to beat Metro Manila traffic. I bought a local SIM for cheap data, and I avoid rush hours whenever possible. I haggle at markets and stock rice and canned tuna as staples. I started small to test areas, which made settling in much smoother. Many expats flock to familiar bars and beaches, but I pushed past that bubble. I joined Filipino fiestas and learned basic Tagalog phrases like salamat to say thanks. I taught English and volunteered to build real bonds beyond the expat crowd. Stress faded when my days slowed and I started sleeping better without an alarm. I now focus on sipping coffee at sunrise instead of rushing through emails. Affordable healthcare was a relief, with a doctor's visit costing about $20. Dental cleanings ran about $30 compared to much higher prices back home. Private hospitals in Manila rival Top Care, which drew medical tourists for procedures. I sold my US car and downsized to a scooter and a few beloved books. Owning less freed me from debt and gave time for hobbies like diving and gardening. My move brought financial relief, warm connections, and a gentler pace of life. For me, sunsets over Manila Bay beat boardrooms any day. If you're burned out, why not dream bigger, since your simple life might wade across the ocean? Study visa rules like the SRRV, know the $10,000 deposit requirement, and plan accordingly. Pick up basic Tagalog to chat with locals and feel genuinely welcome. Set a realistic budget and track costs for 3 months before making a final move.